Scenic overlooks are aplenty around the natural state, and one of my all-time favorites happens to be near Gilbert along the Buffalo National River, Red Bluff Overlook, and the trail less traveled to it is ultra short. Probably the most easily accessible overlook and one of the most photographed spots along the Buffalo National River is Red Bluff in the middle section of the river just off a dirt road near Gilbert.
Yes, I would say it's accessible for pictures. It's very one of the most photographed spots in the middle river. For sure, but it is beautiful in itself, yes.
The very short path to Red Bluff begins at this pile of rocks here right off the dirt road, and it's about less than 40 feet down the hill here, but it is very steep, so I can't stress enough, please be careful because it is very easy to slip on the gravel. You had mentioned to me that you had rappelled off this point?
Yeah, I would say probably about 30 years ago. Off this point here, there's a nice, what they call negative, and then a bench below it. 300-foot rope, and we took it to the limit. But you can actually jump off this if one knows what they're doing and then walk back up. But that was probably in the 80s, yes sir, sure was. But we had a lot of fun then. We reacted more than thought about it, but we had fun, absolutely.
You said that once, like floaters, if they pass Gilbert, then they're kind of, you said, in no man's land here.
Well, that's absolutely right. No man's land, no cell service. It's very difficult to access this area. We're probably about 3, maybe 4 miles downstream from Gilbert right now, which is over my left shoulder. And down at the bottom of the river below us is what they call a sand hole, which we can access and catch people if we know that they've missed Gilbert. If they're in a large group and they're looking for Bobby and Susie and they don't know, we'll run down here real quick and see if we can catch them. But if they miss this spot and we don't find them, they more or less sleep on the river unless they canoe on down to Maumee, which is about another 8 miles from us here. And a lot of people just don't know, so they'll camp out. And unfortunately, they will. And that has happened to us on average once every 10 years. Thank goodness it's no more than that. But yeah, you're in the middle of nowhere, absolutely, which is a good thing. And it could be a bad thing.
Ben Fruhoff has great praise for the National Park Service in upkeeping the 151 miles of America's first national river.
We could nitpick a governmental agency really easy, but that's not fair. In the 40 years being grandfathered in as a canoe concession here and seeing it from ground level to now being a mature, older guy, they've done a fantastic job with the 8 or 12 superintendents they've had in. And I know it's a difficult job to do, to maintain something for the general public, but this asset that we have in our country as a national park is fantastic. It's a win-win. People can come here any time of year, springtime when you have the time, fall, and as a mature adult to see the eagles, to see the elk. It's beautiful. It's an asset that is underused.
Find out where we're headed next in my blog at myarkansaspbs.org, brand new each Monday. And don't forget to download the Engage Arkansas PBS app for some really cool Trails photo frames and details about how to enter our Trails contest.